Watch the news, become part of it. El Paso's largest school district finally back under local control. But as EPISD trustees are sworn in, a new investigation is launched. And speaking of the new board, Dave tells us tonight, hope they get it right. UMC's plan to keep and save Children's Hospital fully operational. New developments late this afternoon, putting all the focus now on the Children's Board of Trustees. A story over the weekend has you talking tonight. Carlos saying, great way to represent the Army. But Carol's saying, not all soldiers are this way. I raised 3 outstanding ones. They're talking about this right now on our Facebook page. The discussion sparked by that downtown El Paso melee. 2 Fort soldiers arrested. Have you told us what you think about it? Please do. Nichole.
Well, we've seen the hottest temperatures of the year so far today. Are we expecting even hotter temperatures this week? I'll have that answer in Storm Track Weather.
Next on ABC-7 at 9. Get ready. You become part of the day's news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley at Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
And with that, the El Paso Independent School District is independent once again. You saw our coverage of the swearing-in ceremony live at KVIA.com this afternoon. It showed the 7 new trustees taking their oath and again taking back control from the state. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. I'm Bob Harp.
And I'm Nichole Gomez. I'm tracking what you're saying. And Bob, I'm tracking some hot temperatures out there.
How hot? Is that going to ruin your forecast if you tell me now? Hot.
Yeah, well, so we'll wait till the full forecast.
We'll just give you a few minutes to get that together. All right, thanks, Nichole. We appreciate that. Hey, let's get to our top story right now. Remember, the Texas Education Agency stripped the former EPISD board of its power more than 2 years ago. The district-wide cheating scheme on standardized testing even landed the former superintendent a stay in prison. EPISD told ABC-7 a new investigation, though, is now underway. If you haven't heard, the internal audit found potential irregularities, and the district self-reported that information to the TEA. And the TEA is now handling the investigation. We've learned that the TEA announced it is now looking into issues dealing with attendance in the district. Well, the commissioner of the TEA, Michael Williams, told ABC-7 the district's internal auditor reported what he called, quote, potential irregularities. Of course, we'll continue to follow that story, and today Commissioner Michael Williams handed the reins of the El Paso ISD back to the people, and those the people voted for. Now tonight we can tell you that the elected board is now officially sworn in. They are taking over for the Board of Managers Williams appointed 2 years ago. ABC-7's Ashley Rodriguez was at the ceremony and spoke with Williams. She's live tonight with more. Hey, Ash.
Hey, Bob. Williams started off the meeting with reporters saying this is a new day and it's time to shift the power back to the elected trustees. But that doesn't mean he won't be keeping tabs on what EPISD is up to. Williams has appointed a monitor, Fred Liner, a former educator at a Fort Hancock ISD and former director of school services right here for Region 19. He's also a former TEA monitor and conservator. Now, Williams says Liner will be his eyes and ears in El Paso, specifically watching the board to see how they get along. And if they get off to a good start, Liner will decide when the elected trustees no longer need to be monitored, which could take a couple months or a year. It's at the monitor's discretion.
So the Texas Education Agency stands ready to provide support, assistance, guidance if they ask for it, as the new trustees move forward.
And Williams didn't forget to thank the people he appointed 2 years ago. Williams said the Board of Managers successfully did the job they were meant to do, which was settling the district's financial issues and restoring the trust of the taxpayer and community. Bob?
All right, Ashley, live with that report from our newsroom. Thanks so much for the latest on that. And just a little while ago, Ashley and I were speaking about the trust that taxpayers might have. So we posted this question on Facebook. Is it possible for taxpayers in the El Paso School District to trust a new Board of Trustees? Or was the relationship damaged beyond repair? You can check us out now and tell us what you think. Just visit us on Facebook. And we know the new EPISD board will have its hands full. For perspective, the district has nearly 61,000 students in 94 campuses. It employs 9,000 people, and it is the largest school district in El Paso and the 10th largest in all of Texas. And you might remember back in 2012, the former superintendent, Lorenzo Garcia, he was punished for orchestrating that district-wide cheating scheme. Garcia pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. He was sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison, but he was released last Halloween, a full year early after completing a substance abuse program. Garcia was also given 3 years supervised release. Now, on top of that, he was ordered to pay $180,000 restitution, plus a fine of more than $56,000. Court documents show Garcia is now living in Houston and works for a roofing company. Accept it or reject it. The University Medical Center Board voted 6-0 to formally approve what it's calling the final proposal to El Paso Children's Hospital. Now, the proposal must still be approved by Children's. UMC's board set a deadline for Children's to either accept it or reject it no later than this Friday. The financial dispute between UMC and Children's began last year after an ABC-7 I-Team report raised a lot of questions about Children's finances. UMC announced Children's had stopped paying for rent and services and eventually ended up owing $90 million, according to UMC. Both hospitals approved a term sheet in March of this year, stating that Children's would remain a separate hospital but still pay $50 million to UMC. The agreement stated the closing of the transaction shall be no later than April 30th. But as we saw, that deadline came and went, and nothing really happened there.
Do you think they'll accept that agreement?
I certainly hope so. We want this thing to move forward for the strength and the future of the Children's Hospital to serve our community.
I do think that this is a positive step forward. I think now the ball is in Children's court. From what I understand, what was approved today is something that I would be happy with. I think that this is the only way to go.
Well, a spokeswoman for Children's was at today's meeting but declined to comment. Also tonight, 2 men are in custody after police say they fired shots during a fight in downtown El Paso. Some of that fight was caught on tape. Take a look. This happened early yesterday morning on the 100 block of Anthony, right by the Union Plaza. Now, this is video from an ABC-7 viewer. Police saying no one was seriously hurt, but looking at that video, you can see a man on the ground, and he was punched. He doesn't look like he was not hurt. Now, police say the 2 men who fired the shots that started all this tried to get away in a Jeep, but they were stopped by officers who say they found 2 guns in that Jeep. ABC-7 got their mugshots today. 25-year-old Jerry Lawrence and 22-year-old Harold Boga. They're both stationed at Fort Bliss. They're soldiers, and they are charged now with discharging a firearm. And this is definitely being talked about on our Facebook pages. Lisa, not surprised. Samantha saying lockdown Fort Bliss. Isaac, in other news, absolutely nobody was surprised, LOL. Brandon, not all soldiers are bad, but they don't like taking blame for the bad apples of their bunch. Adrian saying people hate negative stereotypes, and then they live up to those ugly stereotypes and get mad when you point that out. And Jeremy, be your brother's keeper if you have to. This is a disgrace to your profession, soldiers, and you should be outraged. If you'd like to join the discussion, I'm sure you have something to say about this. And we also want to know, will fights like that keep you from going downtown? Join us now on Facebook and tell us what you think. Also, 3 Central El Paso bars closing down, or at least temporarily. They are the Golden Nugget, the Dollhouse, and the George Washington Lounge. Prosecutors are saying that the bars engaged in criminal activity, and they were known to be associated with the Barrio Azteca gang. Each of them surrendered their TABC licenses as part of a pretrial settlement. As a result, the bars were forced to shut down. And a big story tonight, if you haven't heard, police in Waco saying it's too early to say how many motorcycle gang members will face murder charges in connection with yesterday's big shootout. This was outside of a Twin Peaks restaurant. 9 people were killed, 18 wounded. Police say officers opened fire when gang members started shooting. 170 suspects were charged in engaging in organized criminal activity. Now, El Paso authorities even say back in 2012, several Bandito members were involved in an assault and robbery at 2 bars. 6 of them were arrested. Of course, this has you talking on Facebook. Gilbert saying we had 2 terrorists try to kill people in Dallas and over 170 armed criminals in Waco. And in both cases, the result was the same: dead terrorists and dead thugs. Ryan, though, saying $1 million bond is no joke, bro. All right, ABC-7 and text out with live traffic coverage from our cameras. There we go. Showing you everything looks pretty good. I-10 and Prospect, no problems. It is a nice night out there, Nichole. If you take a step outside, it's quite the summer night already. It feels very warm out there.
And as I mentioned earlier, it was hot today, Bob. We want to
very.
take a look at those temperatures. I did mention that these are the hottest temperatures we've seen so far in El Paso, and officially at the airport, 92 degrees was the height today. So we're off to a pretty warm start. Now, across the borderland, we also had those warmer temperatures. 90 in Las Cruces, 90 Alamogordo, 86 TRC, 72 was the high today in Ruidoso, and 88 degrees today in Deming. Currently, we are still warm out there. 87 just outside of our studio, 80 North Star Elementary School, Dr. Hornado Middle School, 83 is the current temperature. Now, we're still tracking some activity on Doppler radar. Now, most of the scattered showers have been mainly along the higher elevations, the Gila region, and mainly towards our east. We'll zoom in towards portions of Hudspeth, Culberson County, even some light rainfall tracking into El Paso. We're not seeing a lot of the darker greens, but throughout the evening, I've also been tracking some thunderstorms, mainly in open country. And as you can see now along US 54 or Oro Grande, we're seeing the darker rainfall, and the heaviest rainfall, I should say, in that direction. So very warm day today, but coming up in your full forecast, I'll let you know if we're tracking any more rain, stronger winds, and more heat. That's all coming up in your full forecast. Bob?
All right, looking good. Thanks so much, Nichole. You can connect with us by using the name CU on the CW on the big three social media apps, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, a lot of these discussions happening now at KVIA.com on Facebook, which we'll get to some of those coming up throughout this newscast. Hey, the El Paso Chihuahuas, they need to win a game, and oh yeah, they need it badly. They have lost 6 in a row, the longest losing streak in the team's history. Well, let's hope they can do it tonight. They're in Fresno. James Needy is on the hill. Hey, some good news. Look at this. El Paso up. I'm just getting this late-breaking score right now. It's now the top of the 7th, actually, no, still a bad. Bottom of the 6th, excuse me. El Paso's up 15-9. This is a great scoring game, so we will, of course, keep you updated. Our fingers are crossed, and we want to see the Chihuahuas win. Speaking of the Chihuahuas, a little bit later in this newscast, big news on the team, putting them on the national stage. It's going to happen at the end of the month. We'll see more of you on the CW because of the discussion that it sparked. It wasn't really good. This one took a twist. Are you ready? All I have to say is Princess ended up saying a lot of smack. Ignorance in that town is why I'll never return. Yikes. That is what she's saying about us. Come on, Princess, where's the love? And how on earth could me posting a picture of this adorable baby orangutan lead to the potential butt kicking of this ABC-7 viewer on the right? Yeah, some sibling rivalry. I love it when our viewers interact with us. Believe it or not, there's a connection there. I know, Nichole, you're scratching your head. What's going on?
I am really scratching my head about that picture.
It's called a tease. I'm teasing you.
Yes, and I'm sure you're scratching your head about the forecast. So I'll tell you what you can expect the rest of the work week in weather.
Yeah, the sweaty head you're scratching because it's hot. Okay, this is ABC 7 at 9 on the CW. You don't just watch the news. You are the news. We'll be right back.